So yesterday we have created the form and written some validations, right? So today we will write some other validations on the server side. We have written only one validation, that is a required field. But in a real time, we require different types of validations based on a client requirement. Okay. So I'm running this application again. We'll see the business rules. Okay. So if you observe here joining data, I'm able to enter the text also. Okay. And we cannot enter provision age also we cannot enter a text. If I type text, I'm not able to enter because the type is a number. Okay. And if you observe here name, I can enter more than 100, 200, 400, 500 like that. Many number of characters I can enter first time. Same last time also I can enter. But real time, we cannot give this kind of options to the user because this first name or last name max 50 characters or 60, not more than that, right? And this date also we cannot give provision to the end user. He cannot enter text like this. He has to select the data. Okay. So if, for example, if I enter the text like this, okay, I am entering the some dummy text. Okay, click on create. Okay, click continue. Now see the value J is not valid for a joining data because this is a date time. Okay, so okay, but the problem is you cannot give this provision to the end user. He has to select the data. That is a business requirement. The client won't accept. See, I have to enter like this data. I have to manually enter. But in real time, we cannot, user cannot enter. He has to select the data using the date picker, right? And if you see here, email also, it is not a valid email, right? So these all are the business requirement. And we cannot enter more than 50 characters or 40 characters in the first name, last name of fields. So how to, how to open this kind of issues, how to solve these issues. So all these business rules we have to going to discuss now and we'll fulfill this. If you open the model, employee model, so we have a different types of validations available in the MAC. So that is provided by the built-in attributes. Okay, this is a required attribute. So if you want to add any attribute, we require the namespace system.component model data annotations. So this is the namespace we have to import. Then only this attribute will work. Okay. Now I want to restrict this first name, last name user cannot enter. Okay. And if you observe here, go to this page. If I click on a creator, click on continue. Now see, first name is field is required, last name field is required. All these fields are showing required. But if you see the first name, there is no space. So why it is a display? Where it is a displaying? So this is a displaying from these properties. employee model, right? Whatever we have given a property name like this, same it is a displaying. But if you want to change this error message, okay, the first name, I want to give some space, first and name. And first name is a required field. I don't want to add a first name field is required. I want to add a please enter first name or please enter last name or else uh, the first name is required. Okay, like that I want to add my own error message. How can we add? We can add by using the attributes. Okay, so come here. If you click on comma, the display. Okay, so if you observe here, it is displaying the different overload. One is auto-generated field, description, name, okay, order, and the resource the type, okay, and these many overload methods it is displaying. So don't worry about all this overload. We will use only field. So I want to display the name. So it is a property. Okay. So what is this? First name. I want to display first name, and this is the last name, right? Display name equal to last name. Save this and run this application. Click on employee register. Okay. Now, if you observe here, I'm able to display the first name or last name or some space. Click on enter. Now, see, first name, last name, it is displaying some space. Okay. Okay. Now, come here, stop debug. So, don't write any code behind code in a debug mode. It won't compile sometimes. Okay. And then so I want to change my error message in my own. So please enter first name or first name is required. I want to write first name is I want to display this message. Okay. So same here also error message equal to last name is required and run this application. Click on employee register. Click on create. Click on continue. Okay, if you see here, first name is required, last name is required. This is my own message, and the rest of the fields by default, it will take the property name and property name field is required. Like that, it is a display. So if you want to write our own message like this, we can write by using this error message property. You see here, this error message. So if you want to write all the fields, you can write. So this is last name, salary, salary is required. All these are business rules. Okay. This is age required. Then create. Now see my own error message I'm able to display. So in real time also we have to write this business validation. So cannot give provision to write inbuilt in validation messages to the uh, end user. Okay, we have to display our own custom messages. In real time also we have to use the like these custom messages. Okay, so actually here is the one problem. If I enter a 44444, the employee or any person age cannot more than 100 years, right? So I'm able to enter this which is a field. So this is a wrong entry. So I want to restrict this field. For example, I want to give the employee minimum age is 15 and the max is 100. Okay. So in between range only he has to enter. Okay. And then salary I want to give minimum 20,000 or 10,000, max 1 lakh. You cannot enter more than 1 lakh. Okay. I want to give that kind of provision and email. So he has to enter the valid format. If I click on this, now see it is not displaying the valid format email. So I want to display some messages. Now stop debug again. Here, this is a salary, right? In salary, we have a range. So if you observe here, it is expecting the minimum, maximum, and then properties error message. Okay. So what is the error message we want to display? I want to display error message. The salary, right? Salary minimum 10,000 and max 1 lakh. Okay. Before that, we have to add 10,000, comma. Okay. So this is the minimum value. This is the maximum value. If I enter 5,000, we have to display this message. If I enter more than 1 lakh, I want to display this message. Okay. So I'm giving the range validator. So if observe here, age also, I want to give some provision. Okay. Minimum age is 15 years, max age is 100 years. So here add a range. So I'm giving the minimum 15 years, max 100. So if we, if users are not enter the 15 and below 15, more than 100, I want to display error message.
అన్నది
Error
సాలరీలో
message.
రాస్తున్నావు అన్న
Huh?
సాలరీలో రాస్తున్నావు
ఏంటి
అది ఏజ్
salary.
కాదు పైన కింద
Age.
ఏజ్ ఉంది
ఇది కదా ఏజ్ ఫీల్డ్.
పైన మీరు పైన రాస్తున్నారు
లేదు
దానిపైన
లేదు. ఎట్లా రాయాలంటే ఎర్రర్ మెసేజ్ ఎప్పుడైనా ఈ ఫీల్డ్ పైన రాయాలి. ఓకే,
ఓకే
ఒక్క
ఓకే
నిమిషం ఇక్కడ స్పేస్ అంటే చేస్తాను, ఇక్కడ క్లియర్ ఉంటుంది. మనం ఈ వాలిడేషన్స్ అనేది ఈ ప్రాపర్టీ పైన రాయాలి. అబోవ్ రాస్తే అప్పుడు ఇవనేది దీనికి అప్లై అవుతాయి, కింద రాయకూడదు.
ఓకే
ఓకే,
ఓకే
సో ఐ వాంట్ డిస్ప్లే ద మెసేజ్ టు ద ఏజ్ between 15 and 100. సో ఈ మెసేజ్ చూపించాలి. ఇక్కడ మీరు ఇంకోటి అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే ఈమెయిల్ ఫీల్డ్. సో ఇఫ్ ఈమెయిల్ ఇస్ ఇన్వాలిడ్ means I just entered ABC and not entered the @gmail.com like that. So that time also I have to display the please enter a valid email like that I want to display. So this is the email, right? Data type data type dot email address, and I want to display the property error message. Error message is equal to enter a valid email. Valid email. So like this I want to display the message to the end user. So if we have a confusion, we can give some space between the each property. Okay. Remember, whenever we are writing any, validation messages, it should be the above of this property. Okay. So this display name is used to display the property name in a front end, a screen. And this required message validator is used to display the if the user not enter a text in the text boxes. That time we have to display the required validations. And then this range validators is used to restrict the in between from minimum to max value. And then we have some other messages, max length, min length. For example, this first name last name field user can enter the more than 1000 like that he can enter. So in real time he cannot do that correction. He can enter minimum 3 characters or 5 characters, max 30 characters or 40 characters. We have to keep provision. So this is the first name, right? So minimum length I want to give the 5, comma, so error message. I want to display minimum 5 characters required. Okay. And max length. So I want to give string max you can enter 30 characters. If you enter more than 30 characters, I want to display the error message. Error message equal to max 30 characters only. Same, no, this is the first time, right? Copy these 2 lines and paste it for last time also. So we are not going to write any logic here, just using this property names and giving some space between a property, then you can understand easily. Otherwise it will a little bit confusing. I'm giving some space for each property. This is the email and which now it is a clear. So run this application. Deploy register. So I'm entering the just want to okay and the salary and the age and the email. And now see, please include @ symbol in the email address. Okay. So I'm entering the Siva @ gmail.com and enter. Now see, I given a 3 letters, minimum 5 characters is required. And here I given a 2 letters, minimum 5 characters are required. And the salary I entered the 22. So salary minimum 10,000, max 1 lakh. So that is the error message. And the age I entered the 11. Age between 15 and 100. So we have to enter in this range. Now I'm entering the age 25. Okay. And the salary I'm entering the 20,000. And entering the name minimum 5 characters, right? So I enter something, anything. Then click create. Now see, data S is not a valid format. So here we have to give the provision to select the data. So in JavaScript, we know the data picker and jQuery, we can use the jQuery data calendar previously we have discussed. So you can use anything. So come here. Where is that? This is the index. Register. So if you observe here, we are using the data joining data. So I want to add some jQuery date picker here. So previously we know the how to add a date picker all this, right? So I think we have added a date picker in here, right? So copy this date picker all this. We have to add a register page, right? So here contact.html. Register page. So if you want to add this in the below, we can add a below. Okay, it is a clear now. So I'm removing this style section. It is not required. Now I want to add a date calendar. So dollar of how much? What is the field name? Joining date. Data. This one. Reload application. So this all everything whatever you are writing, this is a business requirement. Now see, I'm able to getting the date calendar. So I can select the data like this. So in real time also user cannot enter a date manually. He has to select the date. Okay, that is a requirement. Okay, so like that we have to add the date calendar. So all data annotations we have a enter. Now I'm entering the some name. Now see, I'm able to enter that data and able to redirect into the list page. So like that we have to validate in a real time also. These are the business requirement. So with the help of data annotations, we can write a validations message. So real time also, whatever I have written, same this data annotations we have to write. Okay. So how can you remember this all this? For example, I'm a experience. So I know all this required field, range field. Okay, and we have a compare validate also that we will discuss in a coming session. Okay, so this min length or max length or display, how can I remember? You have a doubt. Okay, just open the Google. So no one can remember all that syntax because every day we are writing a different coding. So it is not possible to remember everything as a human being. So MEC data annotation evaluations example. So type like this and open multiple links. Real time also we have to search on Google, then only we can write. Otherwise, we cannot remember everything. Okay, open the link. So they will give the different types of data annotations available. So depends on our requirement. Okay, depends on our requirement. We can use all this data annotations. So see here they have a written. They have used the required field. Please enter this department. So they have given some validation message per email and they have written a regular expression. So expression is nothing but email expression they have written. So their own email format we have to enter. And this is field marks. So marks he has to enter the max length 3 characters, minimum length 1. Okay. So like that we have to use this data annotations. So these data annotations, if you write 2-3 times, we can easily remember. Observe here, we are not writing any logic, just validation messages only we are displaying. So don't worry about on that. Okay. So we have to search on Google like this, and we have to write a code in a real time also. Without Google, we cannot write a code because we can forget a syntax sometimes. That time we have to search on Google. Okay. Now I'm closing this one. As of now, do you have any doubts? Hello.
లేదండి.
ఇప్పుడు ఏం లేదు కదా? Okay. Okay. So we have successfully completed the data validations and we will discuss the routing in MEC. So
అంటే ఇప్పుడు
routing
ADO.net అనేది ఇంగ్లీష్ లో రాస్తాను లేకపోతే ఎట్లా
ఏంటిది?
ADO.net అనేది
మన ADO.net రాసిన ఎంటిటీ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ రాసిన ఈ మోడల్కి అయితే ఇవే ఉంటాయి వాలిడేషన్స్. ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్ అంటే ఇదొక్కటే ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్. ఈ డేటా యాక్సెస్ లేయర్లో పోవడం చూసావా? ఇది మాత్రమే ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్. ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్ అంటే డేటాబేస్ నుంచి డేటా ఫెచ్ చేయటము, ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ నుంచి డేటాబేస్కి సేవ్ చేయటం. దానికి ఈ ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్ కోడ్ యూజ్ చేసి రాసాం అంతే. సో యుఐలో రాసేదానికి ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్కి లింక్ లేదనమాట. ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్ ఇక్కడ నేను ఏదైతే రాశానో దీని మాత్రం ఏడియో డాట్ నెట్ కోడ్ అంటాం. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద వ్యాలిడేషన్ మెసేజెస్. బిజినెస్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ వీ హ్యావ్ రిటర్న్. ఓకే, సో ఈ వ్యాలిడేషన్స్లో మీకు ఏం డౌట్స్ లేవు కదా, అంటే ఎలా రాయాలి ఏంటి అని. ఇక్కడ మనం లాజిక్స్ ఏం రాయట్లేదు, జస్ట్ యాట్రిబ్యూట్స్ యూజ్ చేసుకుని ఎర్రర్ మెసేజెస్ డిస్ప్లే చేస్తున్నాం మనం. డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ అవర్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్. ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా దీంట్లో, ఈ వ్యాలిడేషన్స్ మెసేజెస్ లో ఎందుకు ఏంటి అని? సో మీకు డౌట్స్ ఉంటే క్లారిఫై చేస్తాను, లేకపోతే వేరే టాపిక్ చెప్తాను అందుకనే.
లేవండి.
ఓకే, సో we will discuss the routing in MVC. So what is the routing? What is the use of routing? So I'm opening the controller. Student controller. So if you observe here, student controller is empty. Okay, now what I want to create one class here. Class name student model. So here in this class I have a property public in the value and then name. I have these two properties. Now what I want, I'm creating the one list. So list students equal to new list, and I'm creating the constructor. Okay. In this constructor I'm adding the some student data. Students dot add. Okay, here. So I think we have a class, a student class of models. Okay, so we have a student class. Okay, we can use this one. So and remove this student model. Save. So what are the properties we have? We have a ID. We have a name. Student 1. And then what are the properties we have? Age, city, address. So city. Okay, so rest of the properties you can enter. So for as of now, leave it up. Copy this one. Next here. Okay, I'm changing the ID to ID 3 and then ID 4. So student to student name 3 You can give the name as well as I'm just giving the some random names. Okay. And then age 20. So city, you can give. Just like this, I have a list of student data. Now, what I want, I want to use the attribute routing. In MEC, we have a two types of routing. One is a conventional based routing. Second one is a attribute routing. So if you observe here, when I click on a button, I'm able to navigating from one page to another page, right? So if I run this application, if I click on this employee list, I'm able to navigate into this page. If I click on this link, I'm able to navigate into this page. So how this navigation is working? So by default, we have a routing called abstract route config. Okay. So here we have configured the routing. So this is the default router name and then a URL. So URL we have to give the controller name, action name. If it is there any parameters, we have to pass the parameters. And this controller name we have to give here, controller name, action name, and then ID is nothing but it is optional parameters. Okay. So this pattern is called so this one is called a default routing in a MEC. Okay. So conventional based routing and attribute routing. So this default routing is called conventional based routing. But real time, okay. So we have to use the attribute routing with the help of a route attribute. Okay. So how to use the router in attribute routing in a MEC? So with to routing, we are not going to write any logic. Remember here, we have to just use the route attribute and then routing pattern. Okay. So for example, if I want to get these student data, okay. So what is the controller name of student? And then I can write my own action and I have to give the my own routing. Come here. If I click public, I want to write a action result. Okay. Get the student details. So this is my action. In this action, I want to return these students. Okay. So return JSON student. So I want to return this in a JSON format. Okay. I don't want to create a view. So if you return a view, we have to create a view and then we have to pass that data. So this is for demo only. View is not required. Okay. So if I call this action, what I have to use? And I have to pass the student name and then this action name. Copy this action name from this application. So controller name is the student, right? Student slash action name. Now see, I'm getting this issue because this request has been blocked because sensitive information could be disclosed to the third party website when this is used in a GET request to allow GET request. Set JSON request behavior to allow GET. Okay. So we have to pass the JSON behavior request. JSON behavior dot allow get. Stop debug because we are in a debug mode. Whenever we want to return some data in a JSON format, we have to use the allow get. Otherwise, whatever the issue we are getting now, same issue we will get. Now run this application again. Student slash, this is the action. Now see, I'm able to get this data. Now I want to get a student same student details by ID. Stop debug. Enter ID. Okay. So what I want based on ID. For example, if I pass 1, I want to get this record. If I pass 2, I want to get this record. Okay. So in MEC, we have to write the link queries. Okay. So what are the link queries? How to write a link queries? We'll discuss now. So link queries is nothing but in SQL Server, we are writing the SQL statement to get a based on employee ID, based on name, right? Same. So how we are writing the SQL queries in SQL Server? So here we are using the link queries. It will work like a SQL Server queries. Now, what is the data we have a student, right? So I want to get a singular student data using the student class. Okay. This student object equal to students dot where this is the expression we have to give x dot id equal to first or default. So we are using the first or default means, for example, if I pass the id is a 5, id is a 6. I don't have a record in this list. So it will return the null instead of the error message. So I will show you now what is that. Now I need to return this student object here instead of the students. Okay. Save this one. Now how to use the attribute routing, right? So here we have to use the route. Route is a free define. And then I want to use the student slash. So I want to pass this ID here. Okay. So here I'm using the ID and then I want to use the get student details. This is the method. I want to use the format like this. In real time also, we have to use this format. But in MEC, we are not use the most, we are not using the routing, but I am explaining you. So in web API, we'll use the route, okay, like this. But MEC, most we are not going to use the routing, but we have a provision, they have a given a routing, okay. And then if you observe here, I want to use the route here also. The route, in this router, I want to pass the student, okay, and then get student details. This is the method name, okay. So run this application. So enter student, right? I have to pass the student. I given a student a small letters, and then I'm passing the ID to, and then action name. This is the action name. Click on enter. So it is not our student ID. Get the student details. Okay. Now, why it is not working? Same, I have given the student ID. I will display the, sorry. So student ID and then action name. I given a correct format, but it is not working because, so by default, this attribute routing is not enabled in MVC. So we have to enable the attribute routing in MVC. How to enable? So if you come here route.config file, we have to enable the routes dot MVC map MVC attribute route. So this method we have to add, then only attribute route will work in a MVC. Okay, and come here and start application again. So routing, we are not going any logic, don't worry about that. Okay. So student, passing the ID and then a method name. Now see, I'm able to get the data. So put a breakpoint here, then you can understand easily. Okay. Then reload this one. Now see, I'm able to hit this debug and ID I have entered the 2. Now click on continue. If I pass here 3, so observe here I got the ID 2 and then I'm entering the 3. So click on continue. Now I'm able to get the employee ID 3, student details. So this date of birth address we are getting null means in a list I did not given those 2 properties values are not entered. That is why we are getting the null. Okay. Okay. Now I want to get student details by name, not ID. Okay. Now stop debug, write one more action. Copy this one. So instead of ID, I want to get the name. String name here. Instead of ID, I'm using the name equal to name. Okay. So here we have to pass the name, not a ID. And then put a breakpoint here. So this time we will face the one issue. Enter slash student slash I'm entering the 2 and then a method name. Copy the method name. Now see, I'm getting the issue. So the current request is ambiguous between the following actions. So why I'm getting this this action? So I have given the ID, previously it is worked, now it is not working. What is the meaning of ambiguous? Ambiguous అంటే ఏంటంటే సేమ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ 2 యాక్షన్స్ గెట్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఉంది. సో ఈ URL అనేది అర్థం చేసుకోలేకపోతుంది. ఏంటి ఇక్కడ మెథడ్ నేమ్ సేమ్ ఉంది. గెట్ స్టూడెంట్ డీటెయిల్స్. కాకపోతే ఒకటేమో ఇంటీజర్ ఉంది, ఇంకోటేమో స్ట్రింగ్ ఉంది. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను స్ట్రింగ్ ఉన్న మెథడ్ కాల్ చేయాలా? లేకపోతే ఇంటీజర్ ఉన్న పారామీటర్ కాల్ చేయాలా? నాకేం అర్థం అవ్వట్లేదు అని ఇది మనకు ఎర్రర్ మెసేజ్ మీనింగ్ అన్నమాట. సో ఈ ఇష్యూని ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఫిక్స్ చేయాలి? సో మనకు రౌట్ కన్‌స్ట్రెయింట్స్ అని ఉంటాయన్నమాట MVCలో. సో కన్‌స్ట్రెయింట్స్ అంటే ఏంటి అంటే మనం SQL సర్వర్‌లో కన్‌స్ట్రెయింట్స్ గురించి నేర్చుకున్నాం కదా! రెస్ట్రిక్షన్ అన్నమాట. ఓకే. సో ఇక్కడ కూడా మనకు MVCలో కన్‌స్ట్రెయింట్స్ అని ఉంటాయి. సో ఇప్పుడు నేనేమంటున్నానంటే ఇక్కడ 2 పాస్ చేస్తే ఈ ఇంటీజర్ ఏదైతే ఉందో పారామీటర్ ఆ యాక్షన్ కాల్ చేయాలి. ఇక్కడ నేను ఏదైనా స్ట్రింగ్ వాల్యూ పాస్ చేస్తే అప్పుడు ఈ స్ట్రింగ్ ఉన్న మెథడ్ కాల్ చేయాలని నేను దీనికి ఇంటెన్షనల్‌గా చెప్పాలి. అప్పటికి ఈ యాక్షన్‌కి అది అర్థం చేసుకుంటదన్నమాట. సో ఇప్పుడు రౌట్ కన్‌స్ట్రెయింట్స్ ఎలా యూజ్ చేయాలి? Okay. So here, if I observe here, I just pass the ID, add colon and enter the integer. And add a colon and enter the type alpha. So, sorry. దీని మీనింగ్ ఏంటి అంటే ఇక్కడ ఇంటీజర్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు ఈ యాక్షన్ కాల్ చేయండి. ఓకే, స్ట్రింగ్ వాల్యూ ఇస్తే ఈ యాక్షన్ కాల్ చేయని మనం ఇంటెన్షన్ గా చెప్తున్నాం. సో ఆల్ఫా అంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే స్ట్రింగ్ అనే మీనింగ్ అనమాట ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, సేవ్ దిస్ చేంజెస్ and then copy this action name. Slash. సో ఇక్కడ నేను ఇన్పుట్ 2 అని ఇచ్చాను. నవ్వు ఇక్కడ నాకు ఈ యాక్షన్ కావాలి. సేమ్ ఇంతకు ముందు ఈ కన్స్ట్రైంట్, దీని కన్స్ట్రైంట్స్ అంటాం. ఇంటీజర్ ఆల్ఫా అంటే మనకు ఓన్లీ ఇంటీజర్ ఆల్ఫానే ఉంటాయంటే కాదు, డెసిమల్ ఉంటుంది, బిట్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, రేంజ్ వేరే ఉంటాయి, డిఫరెంట్ గా ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఓకే, క్లిక్ అన్న కంటిన్యూ. Now see if I'm able to hit. Now I want to pass the student name instead of the ID. So here I'm passing the student 1. Click on enter. Okay, the resource is not found. I think we have to add in some report. Click on enter. Sure. Data. Okay, this is the invalid format. So starting the debug. I am using the action name, so sample, and then HTML. Save this one. Copy the HTML. Student slash action name slash I'm giving the student 1. Details student 1. It is not working. Name equal to okay, I will check it why it is not working. Now we know the constraints in a integer and a string. It is not working, right? I will check it what is the issue. Okay, so we have, for example, if I want to pass a minimum 1, maximum 10 or 15. So in that range, if I not given, so this method I don't want to call. So we have a route constraint called min. Okay, so minimum user has to enter 1, and then max user can enter 20. So in that range only I have to enter. If I give 0, I will get issue. If I give the more than 20, then I will get a issue. Now run this application again. So we have to enter student. I given a 2. Okay. Now click on enter. Click on continue. Okay. If I enter 0. Click on enter. Now see resource cannot found, and I'm entering the more than 20. Remove 0, enter 30. Now see, resource cannot found, and I'm entering in between 20 and if I enter the 3. Now see, I'm able to call. So like that, we have to give the minimum value and max value. Okay. So same whatever I have given, same I can change it. Okay. So what I can change, I want to give it the minimum value, max value, right? So now what I want to give the range constraint. Okay. Range constraint, I can give it. So stop the debug. This one instead of this. Okay. So get the students, just change the name. Get the student D. Okay. So what I want to give the range. He has to enter a minimum 1, maximum 20. In between, he has same requirement, minimum, max, and a range. Instead of entering the minimum, max, I can enter a range, and this is a method name. Okay. So copy this method name. Click on start application. So here we have to pass the get a student. Now see, I'm able to get the student by using the 2. Now I'm here passing the 29. Now resource cannot found because I have given a range from 1 to 20 only. So in that only it has to enter. Okay. Now what I want, so we have covered the constraints, route, everything. Now if you observe here in this scenario, I used the student to student to student. Okay. So instead of entering all actions student, I don't want to enter this student keyword multiple times. It is repeating, right? So what I want to remove this student. So instead of I can put one place here. Okay. That is called, we have a one more called a route prefix. Route prefix. In this route prefix, we have to enter a student. Okay. Save this one. Stop debug. Otherwise it won't work. Solution Explorer. Build application. So in debug mode, don't write the code. Okay, it won't debug sometimes. Now I have a written a route prefix student. Come here and I want to remove this student now. this one, and then run this application. Now see, this action is hitting because the student I have given here. Now click on continue. Now see, student ID method. So like that, we have to use the route prefix. Okay. So I have a requirement. Okay. What I want to sometimes there is a requirement. I got. So for example, instead of a student, same student controller. Okay. I want to give to some other name, but I don't want to give student, but the action should present in a student controller. That is a requirement. So I'm writing one more action. Public action result get course get courses. This is my method name. Okay. So I'm taking the list. In that list, I have a string. This is equal to new. So list data, and I'm adding the course names. ASP.NET list dot add SQL server list data add MVC list data add Angular. So these are the list. Okay. Now I want to return these lists. Return JSON list equal to hello NuGet. Okay. So what I want to enter a route. In this route, what I want to do. So I have to give the technology about technology. Okay, I have give a tech and then a action name. Control C, Control V. So if I type text and then get course, I want to call this action. Okay, and then put a breakpoint on this application. So copy the method name. Copy. So here I want to enter a tech. Slash method name. Now see resource cannot found. So here also I have given a tech method name, and here I given a tech get students. So if I enter a student, because route prefix is student I have given, right, and then click enter. Now I'm able to get the action, but I don't want to enter this student. I want to enter only this tech and get a student courses. That is my requirement. Then how to overcome this one? So we have to use the tilde symbol. Okay. This is a symbol called tilde slash start the debug and the build application. Rebuild a success. And then run this application. Or I want to enter tech slash get courses. What is like get courses? This should be the get call. HTTP get only. Rebuild application. Reloading. Clean the solution. Updating the attribute of method requires restarting the application because it is not supported. Okay, just close this one and open again. Visual Studio. Now that issue is gone. Run this application. So I want to enter technologies and then another name get the courses. Now see, I'm able to hit this action. Click on continue. See, I did not enter the student. Okay, so sometimes very rare scenarios, this this kind of scenario will come. So in this scenario, we have to override the route prefix with the help of a tilt symbol. Okay. Okay. I want to use the optional parameters. For example, I have a get name. This is a name. I have to pass the name and I need to get the details. Okay. So then what I have to, I must pass this value. Now copy this name. Student slash and then we have to pass the okay. Shiva is coming. Okay. So there is no name. So what is the name we have? Student 3. Copy this name. The resource cannot found because I have given a name also. If I give, okay. So what I want to change these names. So here I'm giving the Shiva, I'm giving the Vasu, and then I'm giving and so this is the names I have. Run this application again. So student slash get what is the method name? Get student details, right? Get student details. Copy this one, paste here, and then enter a name. I'm passing the name Siva. Okay, click on continue. Now see, I'm able to getting the name. Okay, so if I not pass Siva, okay, then what will happen? Enter. So I'm getting the complete list because I have a method called this same name I have. That is why I'm able to getting the list. Okay, so I'm giving the different name. Okay, so instead of this, copy this method and paste here. Get student name, get student details by name. This is my method name. Copy this method name, paste here, save. Run this application. Okay, don't worry about on this routing. It is very simple. We are not going to write any logic, just routing only we have giving. Okay, student slash method name slash I'm giving the Siva. Now I'm able to getting the student details and removing this Siva. Enter. Now the resource not found. Now enter. Still a resource not found. So I don't want maybe I want to give provision to the end user. If he not enter a value, still that time also I want to give the I want to call this action. Okay. So how to use that one? So we have to use the optional parameter. Optional parameter. Stop debug. So if you want to give the optional parameter, then remove this one. Just to use the what is the name? Here is the name, and then use a question mark. Okay, and then give the space in between name and this question mark. Run, copy this method name. So if it is a name is a okay empty, then I want to give the default. So I want to check this one if string dot is null or empty. Okay, name is a empty. Then I want to return a default value. I want to give here. Okay, students dot where name equal to I'm passing the Siva data first are default. So this link queries I will explain you tomorrow clearly what is this everything. Okay, and then use this student object. Okay, so I'm using the student one. Pixel. Copy, paste here. So instead of this, I have to pass the student one. If it is a user not enter anything, then by default value, I am passing here name equal to Shiva. Okay, then run this application. Copy the method name. So student slash action name slash enter. Now see, still now I am able to call this action without passing the parameter also. This is called optional parameter. Okay. Now I want to pass the default value. Okay, default value I want to pass. So we can pass default value also. So copy the same action. Stop debug. Get student default para. Okay, so remove this one. I am using the value Siva. Okay, so now instead of this one, I am passing the my name property here. Now this is the method name we have to give here. Save this one, copy this method, and run this application again. Student slash action name, enter. Now see default value is coming Siva. And then I'm passing the value Narayana. Now see I'm getting the Narayana. So we have a provision and we can pass the default parameters. We have to give the optional parameters. Okay. So this is the complete routing in a MVC. This is called a attribute routing. So we have to implement the attribute routing by using the route attribute. Okay. So this is enough, I think. If I explain you more, then you will confuse. So today we just discussed the validations and then routing. Tomorrow we will discuss the different types of return types and then link queries. Okay. And the route constraints also we have covered. So do you have any doubts now? సో ఈ routing లో ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే మనం జస్ట్ రౌట్ URL ప్యాటర్న్ చేంజ్ చేస్తున్నాం అంతే. సో రియల్ టైంలో ఏంటంటే ఈ ఏదైతే యూజ్ చేసాం ఈ రౌటింగ్ అంతా వెబ్ ఏపీలో వాడతాం కానీ ఎంఈసీలో అంత ఎక్కువ యూజ్ చేయరు. కానీ మీకు చెప్తున్నాను రౌటింగ్ కూడా మనం ఎట్లా వాడొచ్చు అని చెప్తున్నాను అంతే.
అంటే దీనివల్ల యూజ్ ఏందన్నా అప్లికేషన్స్
యూజ్ ఏంటంటే ఈ రౌటింగ్ అనేది ఈ రౌట్ URL అనేది మన క్లయింట్కి ఎలా అయితే కావాలో అలా వాళ్ళు అడిగిన విధంగా ఈ నేమ్స్ ఇస్తాం అనమాట. సో
యూఆర్ఎల్ ఎలా తయారు చేయాలి
క్లయింట్ అడుగుతాడు మనకు నాకు ఇట్లాగా కావాలి URL నాకు ఐ మీన్ ఈ ఫార్మాట్ లో కావాలని అడుగుతారు వాళ్ళు క్లయింట్. సో అలాంటప్పుడు ఈ రౌట్ అట్రిబ్యూట్ రౌట్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని మనం యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఈ రౌట్ అనేది లేకపోతే జస్ట్ కంట్రోలర్ నేమ్ స్లాష్ దిస్ మీద నేమ్ ఇంకా అదే ఫార్మాట్. అలా కాదు నాకు వేరే ఫార్మాట్లు ఇలా కావాలి, ఇలా ఆప్షనల్ పారామీటర్స్ కావాలి. ఓకే, సో ఇట్లా వాళ్ళు డిఫరెంట్ అడుగుతుంటారు అనమాట క్లయింట్. వాళ్ళు అడిగిన విధంగా మనం ఈ ఫార్మాట్ అనేది చేంజ్ చేస్తూ ఉండాలి రౌటింగ్. సో ఆ ఫార్మాట్ కావాలంటే ఇక్కడ అట్రిబ్యూట్ రౌటింగ్ యూజ్ చేయాలి.
యూఆర్ఎల్ని ఎట్లా తయారు చేయాలనేది
వాళ్ళు ఇస్తారు మనకి ఏ ఫార్మాట్ లో కావాలనేది మనకు వాళ్ళు ఇస్తారు. సో దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని మనం ఇక్కడ ఈ నేమ్ ఇన్పుట్ పారామీటర్స్ కానీ మెథడ్ నేమ్స్ కానీ ఇవన్నీ వాడతాం అనమాట. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద రౌటింగ్ అండ్ దెన్ వాలిడేషన్స్. సో రేపు లింక్ క్వెరీస్ చెప్తాను, ప్లస్ డిఫరెంట్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ రిటర్న్ టైప్స్. అవంతా అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఎంటిటీ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ చెప్తాను. ఆ తర్వాత ఇంకొక 2 టాపిక్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో ఎంఈసీ అయిపోతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ఎంఈసీ అయిపోతే వెబ్ ఏపీఐ కోర్. ఓకే, ఆ 2 స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం. ఆ 2 ఒకేలా ఉంటాయి. ఇప్పుడు మీకు ఎంఈసీ ఏదైతే చెప్పానో సేమ్ ఎంఈసీ కోర్ కూడా సేమ్ డేటా ఫ్రమ్ కంట్రోలర్ నుంచి మీకు ఎలా పాస్ చేయాలో సేమ్ అలాగే ఉంటుంది, ఏం డిఫరెన్స్ ఉండదు. కాకపోతే కొంచెం స్టైల్ డిపెండెన్సీ ఇంజెక్షన్ ఉంటుంది అనమాట. సో లేటెస్ట్గా వాడుతుంది ఏంటంటే డిపెండెన్సీ ఇంజెక్షన్స్తో అప్లికేషన్స్ డెవలప్ చేస్తారు. సో అదేంటి అనేది నేను
ఎంఈసీ కోర్‌లో చూపిస్తాను. ఓకే. మీరేం భయపడాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్ మీకు కొంచెం కొంచెం చెప్పుకుంటూ వెళ్తాను. 2 అవర్స్ చెప్తే ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఏంటంటే మీకు ఎక్కువ సబ్జెక్ట్ కవర్ అవుతది. అంటే మీకు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయడానికి టైం సరిపోదు. సో, మనం కోర్స్ తొందరగా కంప్లీట్ చేయటం అనేది ఏం కాదు. మనకు అర్థం అవ్వటమే ఎయిమ్. సో, మీకు అర్థం కాకుండా నేను ఫాస్ట్‌గా చెప్పినా కూడా అది యూజ్‌లెస్ అన్నమాట. ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయండి ఇంకా? ఇప్పుడు ఈ రౌటింగ్‌లో?
మనము ఒక దగ్గర టెయిల్ సింబల్ యూజ్ చేసిన దగ్గర
సింబల్.
హెచ్‌టిటిపి గెట్ అని యూజ్ చేశారు. ఎందుకు అక్కడ?
గెట్ మెథడే. ఇది చెప్పినా ఏం కాదు.
ఓకే.
గెట్ యాక్షన్ ఇది చెప్పినా ఏం కాదు. ఓకే. సో, ఈ టిల్ట్ సింబల్ ఎందుకంటే నేను స్టూడెంట్ కంట్రోలర్‌లో ఉన్నా కదా! సో, స్టూడెంట్ అని ఇవ్వొద్దు. నేను అది ఇవ్వకుండా నేను ఈ ఫార్మాట్‌లో ఇస్తే ఈ యాక్షన్ హిట్ అవ్వాలి. సో, అందుకని ఈ టిల్ట్ సింబల్. ఇలాంటి కేసు చాలా రేర్ కేస్ వస్తది. బట్ మనం తెలుసుకోవాలి కదా! ఓకే. ఇలాంటి సినారియోలో ఇది యూజ్ చేస్తే మనం ఈ ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వ్ చేయాలి అని తెలుస్తాం కాబట్టి అందుకని ఇది కూడా చూపించాను మీకు.
ఇది ఇంకొక డౌట్ ఉంది. మనకి
చెప్పండి.
డీఎస్ఏ నాలెడ్జ్ అవసరం లేదా?
ఏంటిది?
డేటా
Yes.
స్ట్రక్చర్ ఆల్గరిథమ్‌ది. ఈ
ఏమో
నాలెడ్జ్
అవసరం లేదు.
అది ఎక్కడ యూజ్ వస్తది మామూలుగా కోడింగ్‌లో?
సో, డేటా స్ట్రక్చర్స్ అనేది సి++లో ఉంటదన్నమాట అది.
ఓకే. సి
ఓకే. సో
షార్ప్‌కి సంబంధం లేదా?
లేదు. సి షార్ప్‌తో దానికేం సంబంధం లేదు. సో, అవేంటంటే సి లాంగ్వేజ్, సి++లో డేటా స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ఉంటాయి. అవి నేర్చుకోవాలి. బట్ నేర్చుకుంటే మంచిదే. కానీ అదేమి ఈజీ ఏం లేదు మనకిక్కడ అంతే. అల్గారిథమ్స్ అవన్నీ. ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయండి ఇంకా? మహేశ్వరి, భరత్, బజారి. సో, ఈరోజు తక్కువ మంది జాయిన్ అయ్యారనుకుంటా. 1, 2, 3, 4.
అన్న ఇప్పుడు హెచ్టిఎంఎల్ ఉంది కదా
అవును.
అది అంటే మొత్తం చాలా ఉంది కదా అది